All right. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. So
Thanks.
for those, maybe who is coming for the first time, do you want to quickly, either unmute and speak, or you can type in, where are you joining from and, what kind of trader are you? Just a quick round of intro if you want to.
Yeah, I can go ahead. My name is Santosh. I have joined from Sweden,
Sweden, okay.
and I have been trading in all segments, all market.
So you trade in Indian market or the US?
I trade in Indian market. I trade in Sweden market as well.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, who wants to go next?
Basically from Jharkhand.
Jharkhand, okay. So you are currently based out of Sweden or India?
I am currently based in Sweden.
Okay, all right. Who wants to go next? Amit ji, Vishal, Atik. Okay, so let me get started in that case. 1 second. So how many of you are familiar with WD Gann and do you want to quickly go around and I want to just get a pulse of the room. Can you type in like a yes if you know about his teachings, his concepts, or at least have you tried to use any of his concepts yet? Okay, yes. Anybody who has absolutely not heard of WD Gann, you can type in a no, or I've never used any of his techniques. Okay, I see yeses. Anybody who is absolutely not aware of who is WD Gann? I mean, of course, you know who is WD Gann perhaps, but I've never used any of his techniques. Nobody? Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Um, so if you are familiar with WD Gann, which is the sense I'm getting, can you tell me, what or how exactly you tried to use any of his teachings so far? I mean, you know, what all did you use so far, and what is your experience?
I think there are many things. It is a very last topic, but again, there are many techniques, many,
Mhm.
and it differs from person to person how they have uh, taken away from the book if somebody has read the book.
No, but my
Yes,
question is, how have you practically used his
I have used many techniques. The most common technique is the 50%.
Mhm.
And then there are some certain rules like 3366, which is the what we call Gann emblem, the triangle.
Mhm.
Then what is birth zone? What is death zone? What is cycle? Time cycle? What are different Gann dates on the Gann wheel?
Okay.
How Gann wheel works?
And
Then
sure, yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
these are the things I have practiced.
And what is the outcome? I mean, do
It's
you
good.
think?
It's good. I'm not losing the capital, and I'm able to stand in the trade, and I'm able to stand in the market. That is the good part.
Okay, all right. So of course, I have a lot to talk about, and probably this is the first of the series, right, of sessions
Yes.
I'll do every Friday. at this time, right? At least I'll try to do it every week. If in case I
Yes,
miss certain weeks, because of personal issues, I'll let you know. But this is just to, probably get you a little bit of glimpse
yes,
into what I've done, how I've sort of, taken his teachings and, introduced that as indicators, right? I'm sure, all of you must have heard of, the Gann square of nine, right?
yes.
Okay. So how do you use the Gann square of nine?
So if you see the wheel, like again, uh, the numbers which plays important role is like, uh, it is everything is a natural number. It whatever number he has used in the Gann concept. So the multiple of nines, the squares, because nine is ultimately again it is three square equal to nine. Plus again, if you are going with nine, then you need to form the circle in the multiple of nine, 9, 18, 27, 36, and so on. Similarly, the square of 9, then the square of 144 is also there, 464 is also there. So that is how I have used.
And
Got it.
how do you trade using these things? I mean, what is it? How do you?
So if I can see your indicator here, so normally that my trading style will be, like I will try to enter the trade on 45 level of angle.
Mhm.
That is the first. If it is in range bound, then I'll if I'll enter at 45, then I'll target for 90-degree angle.
Mm. Okay.
Similarly, vice versa. If it is falling, I will try to enter at to 270-degree and then try to trail the target till 50% or 90-degree or to the next level as well, 0-degree.
Mm. So, so this square has some beautiful properties, of course, right? As you rightly mentioned, these are numbers that are there are certain numbers like 90 degrees, 180 increments of 90-degree, I would say, right? So if you take 90, 180, 270, and 360, those are the four cardinal points of a square, right? And even if you take a circle, and these are roughly divides it into four quadrants. And even if you take our seasons, right? The sun cycle, roughly the year is so because our seasons are because of the sun, right? The sun cycle is nothing but constitutes our season,
Yeah.
and every season is roughly a 90-degree if you think
Yes.
in Gann's terms, right? So
And
there
moreover, like if you see the four season in a year, that's the reason. That is also one of the reasons.
exactly, and roughly four means one fourth, and one fourth means also 90 degrees,
90
right?
degree.
So hence
Yeah.
this 90-degree point, no matter what is your base reference, right? And there is a specific formula, right, to calculate that. I'm sure you are aware of it, using the square roots. So this indicator is nothing but a decoding of that formula. It just gives you, certain flexibility in plotting any angles for that matter, right? So I allow you to plot anything from the lowest degree. I think below 9 degree I've not really gone because it's too small. I didn't see any need for that. So you can plot any of these angles, right? I mean, maybe each one of these angles can act on different stocks. There are so many out there, right? Stocks, currencies, commodities, etc. But the most important ones are, of course, your 90 degrees, your the 120 degrees, or the 180 degrees, and so on, right? So by default, I have anyways put it as 90 degrees in the as the default settings, and that pretty much works, right? Very well. And if you are an intraday player, right, the opening price plays an important role. So what I simply do is, I take the opening price and I find the nearest integer square, right? So if you take 22,801 and take the square root, it comes to 151. So this is the nearest integer square which is closest to the opening price. So the simple way to do it is, take the square root of the opening price, round off that number and take the square, you will arrive at this number, right? So that is my reference point. And then once I have the reference point, I know that what a 90-degree movement means or a 360-degree movement means, and hence I can compute all of these values in proportion to that, right? So that is the maths part of it. And as you will know, right, each of these points act as important supports and resistances. Even I would say, since I'm on a 1 minute chart, even I would plot the midpoint of this, which is, the 45 degrees. And even these plays an important role, especially if you're an intraday player playing on the 1 to 5 minutes time frame, right? So there is a simple way to trade this, right? Can somebody say how you can trade this? Market started here, right, at the open. This is your sort of your opening price, right? Now tell me, if you have had to trade Nifty today, right? This is the Nifty chart for today. How could you have used these levels to trade? Just let's have an open discussion. How can you trade? I mean, there is no right or wrong answer. I'm just asking for your idea, right? Based on your experience.
Sir, maybe once the price will close above this 90 degree, so we will go for long, and once it will close below 90-degree level,
No,
then we
I'm
can
talking
go short.
about day trading right now, right? So, I mean, if you uh, look at, right, from open to this 90-degree, it is almost 180, 200 points, right? So that's very, very far away. I mean, of course, if you can wait to see the reaction at 90-degree, that's good for you. But if you wait for that long, most likely you may not even get a trade, right? So think from an intraday perspective, you are probably planning to get around, I don't know, maybe half a, maybe one Gann level, right? Something like this. Let's say 145 degree is equivalent to roughly 75 points, right? So let's say your goal is to capture a 75 point maximum, 100 points move, right? Um, so how can you trade, right? So that is the question. I think Sumiji, you should already be familiar, right? Because I have told about this many times. So, I mean, of course, I will love to explain, but can you take a guess?
So Gautam, how you are calculating this blue levels, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree?
Same,
You
the
are making
formula,
a
right?
square root.
The square root
Square root.
formula. That's it.
Okay, I got it. Is it odd square?
No, it's 90 degrees, right? So, you know what 360-degree means.
Yeah,
Right?
from one level to another, one
So
cycle to another,
360-degree,
one square to another.
means, your two, in terms of square root, you should be two, difference should be two, right? Between the numbers,
Yeah,
right?
the next
For
number. Yeah,
example, if this is 151, 360-degree would be basically square of
153.
153. So
153.
if you take
Yeah.
153 square, what do you get? Let's test it. 23,409. So that is exactly what you're seeing. So if you take, the in between the 180-degree, that will be 152 square, right? Roughly. So that is what it is, right? 23,104. And of course, this would be like half between that, right? So if you take 0.5 and then you take the square, you will get these numbers, right? So basically 90 degrees is nothing but 0.5 in the square root terms, right? Because the whole rotation is 2. So your half rotation is 1. So one
Yes.
quarter rotation is 0.5, right? And hence, you can take any angle and take it proportional as a fraction of 360 degree, right? So for example, if I take 144 degree, 144 degree by 360 is, basically 0.4. So 0.4 times 2. So it will be like 0.8, right? Like that. So any angle can be plotted, right? So now you have to, sort of look at your chart, analyze it. For example, I find that, 45-degree works very well for Nifty on a time frame that is, less than 5 minutes, right? And hence I always use that, right, for day trading. But if you go to a daily time frame, right, of the same, will this work? No, right? It won't work. So you have to increase the angle, right? You have to, at least go to a 360 and then check, right? Because that is a whole number angle. So your 360 is here. Now you have to see, like on a daily time frame, how these angles are working, right? So because this level is like one complete rotation in Gann's terms, right? And each of these is like 2 apart, as you were saying, in terms of square, right? Now, of course, when you are analyzing a daily chart, you will not want to use the opening price, right? Because this is a random open of a random day. You may want to position your square roughly at the high, which is 26,277. So there is an option to override that, and you can say 26,277. And then you say, okay, I want only to plot the levels below, right? And that's it. So it will automatically, calculate what is the nearest whole number square, right? You can see 26,244 it has calculated based on the high value you have specified. 26,244 square root is 162, right? So it has already, and then, everything is calculated with reference to, now this becomes your base price. So basically when you're analyzing, over a long time frame, you have to anchor your chart on a significant high or a significant low. You can take any of these low. You can take this low, or whatever low you want and anchor it, right? So which means, simply, there is a very simple way of trading this, right? I mean, and that applies across pretty much all time frames, right? For example, here, how do you know that you want to go short, right? So basically the rule is simple. Since price took a resistance here, so when it breaks the support below, you can go short. So this is the first level at which you could have shorted, right? Around 25,600, right? Anywhere in this, level you could have shorted. And the simple rule of trading is this, right? So if you short at this level, then your first target is always the next level. And your initial stop loss, either you can place it above the swing high, or you can even use midpoint. If it is too high and you are not comfortable with that, you can always use the halfway, right? In Gann's terms, even halfway is fine. Or at least, this zone that I have plotted. I mean, I have calculated this zone using some Fibonacci ratio. That sort of creates a zone. So at least it has to be above the zone or midpoint or this. So depending on your risk appetite, you can do whatever you want, right? And your target is to get your first target, which anyways, I think within a day or two, you got your first target. And then as soon as you get your first target, you should always, square off your 50%. So if you sold, let's say 100 shares, right? You should take profit on 50 shares. And the remaining one, you should bring it down to cost, whatever is, your acquisition price, right? So what you have done, in essence, by doing that activity, is that you have made your trade risk-free. You have booked profit, and the remaining one, you cannot make a loss. So you are out of your emotion. You are free of emotion. Now, let the market decide how much profit it wants to give you. It is not in your hands. You simply have to wait and watch and trail your stop loss. And there are specific ways to trail the stop loss, which is simply is, once the market, closes below the next level, you bring your stop loss to the previous level. When the market closes below this level, you bring your stop loss to this level. And eventually, your stop loss would be hit here because, the market reversed. See, you can also use the midpoint as your stop loss, right? So if you are very risk averse, then you don't want to give out too much profit. So either you will exit at the midpoint or here. That is where your stop loss got hit. Now, you are here and you have to wait for initiating a fresh trade. So you have to obviously give it some time, either the market has to close below this if you have to go short again, or the market has to close above this if you have to go long again, right? That is the basic rule. So if you are standing here, then your basic rule for going long is that it has to break above this level. Or if your basic rule for short is you have to close below this level. Is this much understood, right? This is the very, very basic rule of how you can trade using Gann levels. Now, what I explained on the daily, it applies to any time frame, any stock, commodity, index, currency, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to trade, you can use this rule. Whether you are trading on the 1 minute or on the 3-day or the weekly, the rules remains the same. Obviously, your risk, I mean, your stop loss and everything will be determined by, the level that you have chosen for your particular time frame, right? So obviously, a 360-degree level in Nifty is roughly, I think, equal to around 600 points, right? So, so this means, your target is also the minimum 600 points, right? So if you have to gain 600 points, you have to be able to accept at least half of that, right? Minimum 300 points ka आपका stop loss होना ही चाहिए initially, right? So that is how you can make money. Is that rule understood? I mean, is that clear to any of you? So again, what happened? Price consolidated here, took the resistance, could not break above, clear consolidation, breakdown, right? So this candle is your breakdown. Again, you can initiate your short here, right? Rules is the same. You place your stop loss here. First target done, square of 50%, trail the remaining to cost, right? Or you can keep it below this Gann level, just above this Gann level, right? To be on the safer side. So price, tried to retrace, but it did not. If you placed your stop loss here, it would have hit. If you placed it here, it would not have hit, right? So whatever it is, you have done it. And then again, it reversed. So again, you could have gone short here. If you exited here, you could have gone short here, right? And then again, you got your one target. Again, your price retraced. And, so depending on where you place your stop loss, it would have hit. But again, it came down here. Again, you could have gone short here. Again, one level. So as you can see, if you enter, you are almost always hitting your target, right? So if you're happy with 600 points, just exit both the lots or the entire quantity you book and be happy, right? 600 points in Nifty, even if you get 2 trades in a month, that's 1200 points, right? So 1200 points into, let's say if you're doing 2 lot of futures in Nifty, which is 150 points, into 1200 points is roughly 1,80,000 rupees. And when you look at this chart, it doesn't seem impossible, right? That you can earn this much. I'm just saying you book one target in every trade and just go out. And again, when you get the next signal, you do 2-3 trades like that, you're going to be set for life. But the question is, you have also a stop loss of 300 points, which technically means that, if you're trading on 2 lots into 300 points, it is around 45,000. So you have to be able to see this much red, before you get to green, right? So, and most people may not have the patience to wait, till they get to the target, right? And hence you end up not gaining anything, right? So it's a question of, risk versus reward, right? My thing is that, okay, you don't take a risk more than this much, whatever is the shaded area, right? I mean, from here to here, let's say your maximum risk should not exceed something like 300 points, 280, 300 points, right? But your reward is double that. And if you can follow and master this system, right, where you are gaining at least 500, 600 points for a risk of, 280, 300 points, mathematically, you are unbeatable. And Gann's principles are designed in a way, these are all mathematical rules, right? I mean, there's no random things here, right? Nobody's drawing these levels randomly. And if you know, where to anchor and, how to observe this, you can make a good amount of money, right, on a monthly basis, right? So this is a very, obviously you are not going to trade on a daily time frame, right? And I'm going to show you many other indicators there that allows you to trade better, right? But this is a simple way to use Gann square of 9. I mean, any questions? I'll just take a pause so you can unmute and ask your questions. Yeah, go ahead. Even if you can try different levels, I tried 360, right? You can try, let's say 144, right? So that also will give you some levels, right? So 144 is roughly, this. So every time, it meets a cardinal point. So this is another interesting way of looking at the chart, right? So let's say if you're trading by this, then, maybe you will short somewhere on breach of this level, right? Or even on this candle or even on this candle. And you can, so now your risk is little smaller, your reward is also smaller. So you can even use smaller risk units if you want. And in case of, you are not going to do daily, let's say you go down to a 2-hour time frame, right? So you move your chart to a 2-hour time frame and use the square of 144, right? So this tool is so versatile that you can adapt to your particular time period, let's say, you are a busy professional, you don't have the time to watch. So 2 hours is a perfect time frame for Indian stock market, where you just need to spend, you know, 15 to 20 minutes in front of your screen every day, and you are set for life. All you have to do is, once in the morning around 9:15 to 9:20, maximum 10 minutes you have to watch. 5 minutes is enough, right? 9:15 to 9:20 candle you need to watch. Then again, you come after 2 hours, 11:15 or 11:20 to 25 you watch. And then again, you come at, 1:15 to 30 you watch. And then again, you come towards the end of the day, 3:15. That's it. So if you can spend roughly, 10 minutes at 2 hour interval, just set an alarm clock, right? Two ways to do it. Either set an alert, so you know what is the next level that is approaching. When it comes there, you go and just look at, open your mobile and just check. You don't even have to sit in front of your desktop, because you know the rules, right? You know the levels, and these indicators are also available on mobile, right? I mean, I hope you must have already verified, those who have it, of course. um Sumitji, you trade on the mobile, or anybody, have you checked how these indicators appear on the mobile? Anybody? I don't use mobile much, because I always use
No, sir,
desktop, but
I haven't checked on mobile.
तो मोबाइल में काम करता है कि नहीं करता है?
सर मैंने यूज नहीं करके देखा सर.
देख लीजिएगा कभी, and let me know. It should work, because that is trading view feature. I have not done anything, right? As long as you can add that indicator, it should work. Obviously, the real estate is low, so your screen space and everything, this thing, but it should work, right? So any questions? The rules, irrespective of time frame, irrespective of what you are trading, where you are trading, when you are trading, doesn't matter. Rules remains the same. Only thing you have to play with these levels. And the only way you can find these levels is you have to spend time with your stock. You have to go back in history, look at how it has behaved in the past, and future is nothing but a repetition of the past, right? So if you feel that, if you backtest for at least, if you're doing swing, I would expect you to backtest for at least 2-3 years and tabulate the data. Like if you were trading by the simple rules that I described here, how much money you could have made, right? So you just have to follow the chart as it is. And since it's a 2 hour chart, you will be able to do backtest of 2 years in 2 weeks flat. You should be able to do, right? Because you won't generate that many trades, trust me. Because these levels are designed in such a way that it will give you precise entry and exit, right? Look at the touches and fall. Look at the touch and fall. Even 144 and 2 hour works like magic, I'm seeing, right? Look at the things, double top fall. So getting, even a 144 point, this angle move is roughly equal to around 260, and half of that is 130. So this may be suitable, right? Maybe 130 points, 150 points is okay with the kind of volatility we are seeing. And, you can even use these cardinal points as your major support and resistance. That is clearly visible, right? Price gave a one-way move, then sort of resistance, it took exactly the resistance at the next level, did a couple of things, and then once it broke again, it went almost to the next one. I mean, maybe one level below. Then it would have hit your stop loss here, but then again you could have reversed the trade here and continued, right? So easily, at least half of this, right, half of a 360-degree rotation you can easily capture without any emotions. And that is the beauty about the Gann system, that it helps you stay focused, helps you, stay away from your emotions, and gives you a very scientific basis where to enter, where to see. Exit is not controlled by you, right? And you don't have to. All you need to control is your first target and your trailing stop loss. And every time you hit a target, you are trailing your stop loss. Every time you hit your target, trailing. And if you go to the 3 target, you want to book your profits and run, just do that, right? Because 3 targets, in this terms is a lot of money in one trade. So 3 targets is almost, close to 750 points. You take this profit and run, right? It's enough. One trade is enough for your monthly income.
No, but what is the ideal entry where we will enter?
There is no ideal entry. The rules, samjho, basic rules. Rules is, so your observation point is here, right? Obviously, you will not be able to get this observation point until you are a little bit further down the line, right? Maybe at least, one level, at least, 1 or 2 days, maybe next day only you will be able to do. In that case, what you can do is you can anchor it to a previous high and low, right? So कौन सा लो लूं? ये वाला तो एक फ्लैश क्रैश था. So let's Take
January
something.
low or February low.
ये वाला लो अच्छा लग रहा है, right? It's a significant low. So let us anchor this chart to a past low and hence provides a good frame of reference, right? So let me pick this low is okay.
Yes.
This is October 20th. In fact, this whole move that lasted until about that high in last year 27, it actually originated here, right? So this is a good point, right, to observe. So if I take the low, what is that number? What is the number? 18,837, right? So I simply need to go here, change it to 18,837. Let it be 144 degree. I will just say above only, right? Because now I am going up. I think maximum there it takes 24 levels. I'll see if it goes all the way to the top. Yeah, so this is maybe what you can do. This is too far back. Let us pick a recent low. Maybe this one, because maybe this one let's take. What is this low? 21,710. And okay, let's take above only from this point. Okay, so it has automatically taken the square root and adjusted the level, right? Like I mentioned, it takes the whole number square to start with, right? So let's say this is this thing. Okay, so now how can you trade this? Okay, so let's say, tell me, where should I start the trading from? I mean, you give me one random date, I'll start from there. Now that the reference is set, I can start trading from anywhere. You tell me from where I should start, and I'll start
10th
from
October. 10th October. Yeah, from 10th November.
10 November, 24.
Yes,
10 November.
there. Or you can consider anything. 25th October on the left side. On the left side. Say yeah.
25th October, huh?
Yeah.
Here somewhere. Okay. So see, the rules, irrespective of what you do, remains the same, right? So let's say if you start somewhere here, first you have to see where the price is taking support or resistance, right? You have to observe a little bit, right? You can go back and you can clearly see the price has reacted from here and it has covered 1, 2, 3. So where should I start? From here? So I'll have to wait for the price to take a support or resistance, right? I have to observe instead of immediately trading. Now let's say this comes here, it takes the support here, then tries to reverse here, doesn't break above, right? Uh, doesn't break above, and again tries to break, again reverses. So basically I can define that, okay, between this level to this level, my price is sideways, and hence I should not do anything much. I mean, obviously I can now, since this is a top here, I can say that, okay, if a double top forms here and then breaks below the low, so this is tradable, because that there has been a rejection here, there has been a double top here, and after that price breaks this level, you can go short here. Or if you want to be safe and you say, oh, I don't want to trade this range at all, you will wait for a clean break. Now, of course, see,
But
break
those
doesn't.
range are later dates, right?
The thing is,
Those
you will never trade this kind of candles, right? Where there is such a big volatility, you will wait for the market to cool down and actually show you the way. So once this happened, what happened? Price tries to take the resistance and then again went up. So again, same level. If you observe now, third time, price has bounced and given the break below. Even this is a long candle, I would avoid. I mean, never trade a candle which is equivalent to almost your Gann level, right? Because this is too risky. Because if you trade this candle up to stop loss, you'll have to compulsorily place. If you are okay with one candle stop loss, go for it. But I would never trade that. I would wait for the market to give me a cleaner breakdown, right? That cleaner breakdown happens on this candle, if you look at it, right? Because I said that between this range to this range, market is sideways, right? See, it is not a harm that if even if you traded this candle or this candle, is perfectly okay. Only thing is that you have to keep your stop loss one level away. So you have to be willing to accept this much stop loss. If you don't want to accept that much stop loss, then you have to wait for the right candle. And
But
the right
what will
candle
happen
for
on the
me,
1st of November when the candle broke the
this
red line?
is an ideal candle, because see, I could have traded this. This is also a break of the level, isn't it? But one thing
Yes.
is, this is too big for me to feel comfortable trading. So I will not touch this candle. Now the
Okay.
second,
Good.
after that, you go back and look at when was the next candle that broke this candle. So this is a perfectly sizable candle. I think it is probably half of the Gann size, right? So you just go short below this, keep a stop loss just above the candle. That is the initial stop loss, or you can keep it above the swing high also, just to be on the safe side. At least for one candle, you keep it there. Once price comes down and hits your first target, then you can bring your stop loss down, right? Hits your second target, you have a choice to get out, right? Or you trail your stop to here. So rule is simple, right? Once it goes into the next level, ideally it should close. You should wait for a close, not a touch. Touch is not enough. I always wait for a close. Only then I will trail it here, right? So if you did that, you initiated your trade here. You got almost here. It would have completed your one target. Here it would have completed two target. You will almost always get two targets, and you have a choice to make here. If you're happy with this much profit, you get out. Right? Because see, thing is, anyways, it is on a long extended move. If you look at the history, right? See, had I been shorting here or here, I could have expected a bigger move, right? But I'm already at the fag end, right? So even two levels for me is good enough, because anytime reversal might happen. And that is exactly what happened from here. See, for you to count as a reversal, the rule is simple, right? If this level is activated either by a wick or close, and then price closes. So this is your candle for reversal of the trade. If you want to just reverse the trade, you will reverse it somewhere here or above this high, ideally, right? Generally we take the candle high for reversal. So once uh you know once your price breaches this high, you can reverse. So if you reversed, you can say that you got, this is half a target, and maybe since you are here, so here you will get your complete target, and within a day or two you got all your targets. You can again exit here. You got your 2-3 targets. So you do one trade here, one trade here, you are set for the month. You don't have to, do more than that. You find something else to do, right? Goal is to make some money, and one or two trades in a month is enough. As a swing trader, I'm saying, obviously you can follow this thing on the 1 minute time frame also. Daily you can capture 70 to 100 points, right? And even if you take average 100 points daily, let's say, even if you trade 10 days a month, so that's roughly around 1,000 points. So so that depends on how much active you can be in the market, right? How much vigilant you can be in observing, and how much time and patience you have. If you don't have patience and time, then this kind of strategy is perfectly suitable. And if you have the time and patience, then you can go and play in the smaller time frame also, where obviously you will be doing a lot more trades. Your broker will definitely be happy, right? Because you will give them a lot of income. And but if you follow the rules, you can still make a lot of money even on an intraday setup, right? So you will obviously not use 144-degree. You will use much smaller degree, like 45 degrees ideal, right, for Nifty on a intraday time frame. Whereas a 144 may be very good for swing. For analytical purpose, you can use 360, right? On a daily or higher time frame, you can use 360 and check, right? Because that is a whole number. You can even go longer than 360 also, if required. So, these points will always act as important. Like you look back in the past, you will always see here, even in this range bound market, this level has acted. So every time it gone here. So obviously, first time you will not be able to trade, but second time you get a rejection. This is a perfectly good place to initiate your trade if you're an aggressive trader, or here on break below this level, and you can ride 2-3 levels like this. So you will get opportunities even, in a sideways market like this, right? In that case, you have to observe, what is the significant areas of support and resistance. And then, you have to play by the patterns. So this is a failure of, actually this is, the double top kind of pattern, right? And then a break. and you can trade this. Similarly here, you got a triple bottom kind of thing, right? So obviously first bottom you cannot trade, second bottom you can trade, even the third bottom you can trade. So depending on the type of market condition and the pattern analysis, right, you can suit your style, right? So either you will trade the breakout, which is what works in a trending market like this. You can get a fantastic move. Even look at this. Let's imagine this days you avoided, right? Obviously, but let's say this is your key Gann level, and you got a break above this, right? So you could have initiated your trade here or here somewhere, and look at the profit this one gave: one level, two level, three level, four level, five level. Here it did not close. Six level, seven, and stop loss hit here. Six level. Six levels you could ride using the simple method I just described. So are you seeing the power, right? I mean, six levels is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's almost 1400 points in one trade. If you can keep your emotions in check and follow the rules, then there is a lot of money for the making, right? Even look at this breakout here. Obviously, I said, what did I say? Such long candles I will never trade, right? So again, it entered into a consolidation mood. Again, it took a perfectly, rejection candle, right? I mean, this is a kind of candle that says that, there is support here. But my ideal point of trade is here above this. Obviously, again, we got a very big candle. Maybe, I will not be able to, but this again was a perfectly suitable candle for me to enter. Okay, so it all depends on how you view the market. Now you will say, oh, this wick came and touched and took away my stop loss. Yes, sometimes these things will happen. You can't prevent anything, right? So that is why, it's important if you're doing swing trading, you should, instead of, placing the stop loss here, you should set an alert and then wait for a close of the candle. If you waited for a close of the candle, you will not have given the stop loss. Whereas if you have the stop loss in the system, maybe it would have taken your stop loss and ran away, right? So this kind of things will happen. It is unavoidable if you're in the market. But eventually, you will win more than you lose. I mean, if you look back and backtest, across the history, right? And you can go back and backtest any time frame, any time period. You will see that you would have won more than you lost, right? Especially if you have picked the right vibration number of that stock, right? Now, whether 144 works in Nifty, you can test and you can find out. If you can find a better number, you can go with that better number, right? But 144 is like a Jupiter number. So it works, right? So, it works. If a
So
stock
what
is
is
ruled
the
by Venus, you can
Gautam?
go with 225 degrees also, right? Certain like Bank Nifty, I think you should go with minimum 225 or more, right? For Bank Nifty because the volatility is higher. For Bank Nifty, even 144 is too low. So maybe you can go with 225 in that case. Yeah, tell me.
So this dark line, what is this coming? It is between these two red lines.
Sorry? See, dark lines are the ones that are important, right? The cardinal points.
Okay,
So the
1999
blue
like that.
blue is 90 degree, the orange is 180 degree, the red is 360 degree, and this purple is 270 degree. So I've given distinct colors just to help you identify. Even by looking at the color, you will know it's a 180 degree angle, right? See, I now change it to a 225 degree. Now I think you will not get any stop loss because your risk is little more and hence your reward is also more. And I think this will work even better in my view. Much less stop loss will be hit. One or two here and there it can be, but more or less, it will take care of you. So even this kind of consolidation, it will take care of you. So, once you have, see, the thing is manually doing all this in, copying data from Excel and drawing lines is an extremely tedious task. I could never do it. And that is the primary reason I build this indicator is for myself to do a better analysis, right? So I could analyze, 100 stocks and I could find these levels in a matter of seconds, right? Whereas, if I have to do it manually, most teachers will give you Excel sheets, right? Which means, see, everybody can calculate these levels. That is not at all a secret. But the act of, converting those numbers into levels and plotting them is an extremely tedious task. Trust me on that. I have tried that and I failed, and that is the reason for last 3 years I could not use this system. And I built this literally in the last 2 months and 3 months, right? And after that, everything feels so easy. And I feel, oh, what is that power that I've been missing? Now I realize that see, theory was all along staring on my face. Even I think you only told me all the theory, right? So you know all the theory. It's not like nobody knows. But the problem comes with the implementation of the theory and the practical trading, right? And what I have done is I have a Dhan account. So I practically connect my trading view to Dhan, and this is my turns out to my trading console, right? I can set an alert. Even I can use some algo platform to automate some of these trades to take entries and exits. That I will do in due course. So this is my analytical tool. This is my trading tool, right? Period. I don't log into my broker terminal to trade. Only I log into broker terminal, just to check PNL or sometimes to play stop loss and all that. But other than that, I don't have to log in. I can trade directly from here. I can set alerts. When the alert comes, I review it. I look at the pattern. I look at the level. I take my trade. It's simple, peace of mind, and completely devoid of any other indicator you would have used so far in your life, and all of the indicators are lagging, right? And none of them gives results. I mean, of course, all of the indicators will give you results some of the time, but none of the indicators will give you results all of the time, right? That is how it is. Yeah, questions. Questions.
Does it work on the currency
You
as
tell me
well?
what is your favorite stock. Give me one stock. I'll show you how it works there.
It is, you can search with this one.
Hmm?
In just a second, I'm typing it.
So obviously, I have not tested. I primarily follow Nifty and a few handful of stocks, because and a handful of commodities, right? I follow crude oil and all of that, uh, natural gas to some extent, right? So sometimes silver, but silver is highly volatile. So you need to find what is the right number for silver. So once you spend time with your chart and you do the back testing, it is very easy to find what is the right number to dial in. And it's very easy to dial in these numbers also, right? It's just one setting, and once you find it, you just have to note down, okay, for silver I'm going to use this much degree, or you save a layout and save the chart with that particular setting. That's it. If you can't save, at least note down the degree, and that is all you need, right? So it is a hassle free, it's not a complex indicator at all, right? It has certain defaults, but it's very easy to override, and then you can plot any angles, anything from anywhere, right? From any particular high, any particular low. Now which high and which low to choose, that is completely up to you. That is your analysis and your reading of the chart. Ideally, you should pick something that is significant low for the period in question, right? I mean, you should not pick some random low. Pick a low that is going to hold for some time to come, right? For example, in the case of silver, this is an ideal low, right? I mean, it's sharply bounced from here, right? So maybe you can anchor your chart to there and see how things are, right? Of course, if it is becomes uh, too much, then it's okay. For intraday, that is also not required, but because for intraday, your opening price itself is a good reference point, and you either want to trade up or you want to trade down, right? If you're up, means it's bullish. If you're down, means it's bearish, right? So usually, you can do it, right? Uh you don't need a lot of rocket science to trade, right? So that is what I'm just, yeah, you tell me your stock name. OMX.
I have typed in the
I'm not
OMX.
very good with this European and other stocks, so
No, no,
I
no, no worries, nothing to worry. It is just an index from Sweden. That's it. If you search with the OMX X30, then second one.
so ideally, I always start my analysis with a 2-day time frame. Wow, what a fall. So always, I kind of zoom in and try to analyze the big picture, right? This is what I would do. I would try to find a high and low. Now this looks like a good, this is of course the 20th of this thing, low, right? So, and this one, or you can use this high also. So what you should do is, you should basically pick this high, which is what? 2766
2766.
point. So let me go with 144 for now. And I have to say below, right? Because that is a top anchor. Yeah. So this is how it is on the 2-day chart. So you see, how it is roughly reacting. Seems like, this level has acted as an important resistance, then broke above. Then once it broke, look at the fall, right? So this 288, so it's twice the 144. So this seems to be okayish, right? But then obviously you're not going to trade on the 2-day time frame, right? So you have to drop to your desired time frame, let's say a 2 hour, right? And then check if it is tradable on the 2-hour time frame, right? So from where you want to start trading, tell me.
So example today.
Today?
Yeah.
See, today I will not trade on the 2-hour time frame, right? So for that, I'll have to drop to a 5-minute time frame, right? And I would use the default settings, right? I will just override, I will remove the override. So it will automatically pick the opening price for me, right? Yes, where is the opening price? Sorry, I have to make it both sides. This is the default, right? By default.
Yeah.
And let it be like 12. We don't need 24 both sides. So 12, yeah, 12 levels on either side. So this is like, somewhat of a default settings, but what is it that I'm using? Square of 144. Okay. So now I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time with the chart. You have to tell me, whether this level is too big, right? For an intraday trader. 79, 80 points. Is it too big?
Yes, because
For
it
a
is an
stop
index.
loss? What is an ideal stop loss? Let's say when you place a stop loss, or other way to look at it is what I call the ATR. You figure out, what is the ATR for this period. ATR is very low, yeah. It's 10.
On an
So,
average, daily movement is 1%. 1% is nothing but your 24 points. That's it.
so maybe, you can take half and 1/4 and check, or you can just go to 45 degrees, right? That is always a good one to start with for intraday, and then check if it holds. Sorry.
Yeah.
Spot are there. Array. Huh. So where did the day start? Here, right? This is the day start, no? 12:35. Is it when it starts? 12:35, right? 12:30.
Yes, 12:30
The
because it
first
is
bar, right?
3.5
So
hours.
so it has taken this as the start position. And so you have to then enlarge your chart. See, usually, I don't prefer trading in the first half an hour or until it sort of, gives me a level from where it is reacting. Okay. Now, there is a good round of consolidation here and then a break. And then that the price is opened, above this level and it has breached below this level. So this is a perfectly shortable because there has been a good amount of, support shown here. After that, this candle is an ideal candle in terms of height and everything. You can go short just, below this candle. And the
Yes,
rules is again the same. You keep it, below, at least below somewhere here, initial stop loss, right? Or even here is fine, halfway between, right? Halfway between these levels, if you want to be safe. Or at least place an alert here and then, look at when the candle closes and then you can exit if the candle closes above, right? So those are the ways you can do it. Then the rules is very simple. It goes to the next level. You have a choice. Either you can book 100%. I usually book 50% and trail my stop loss to whatever is my cost. So somewhere here. In this case, what would have happened? It would have hit my stop loss, right? Then again, I will wait. I anyways made profit on that because I booked 50% on the other 50%. I did not. It was break even, right? So I made money. Now I have to. Now this is my reference level. So my buy above level is here, and short again. I can short below. Price kind of did all these things, and on this candle it actually closed, right? But I think this candle is also too big for my comfort, right? So maybe I will wait, to see if it is really holding, right? So again, it retraced, but did not break below this low. That means there is support here. Second time it breaks, I'm comfortable taking the trade. So I would have entered long here. My long is already triggered. My stop loss would be the midpoint of this, or ideally, you should place, if you are okay with it, the below the previous swing low. This is where your stop loss should be. Obviously, it is little long, but that is how it should be until the price reaches the next target. You keep your stop loss here, and then once price maybe goes above this, then you can bring it to the midpoint. And then once it price hits the target, you just square off 50% again and bring your this thing to cost. So again, you would have won this trade, and so one trade, two trades. So if the price reaches here, you would have you mark this level and tell me if it reached 2301 basically. So if this trade reaches here, then this trade also you will be in profit. And if trades, again, so you can reverse your stop loss is, let's say, you can even trail your stop loss to midpoint right now, right? Just to reduce the risk, because anyways it has taken support, it is now reversing. It is okay to bring it to midpoint, but to short you have to wait for the price to take this level down to reverse the trade. Below this level you can go short again.
Yeah.
And then again your first target is this, second target is this, and this will be an important target because it's a cardinal level, right? So that is how I play the game. Just wait for one target, book your 50%, trail the thing to cost so you're risk free, and then let the market decide whether it wants to give you second target, third target. And when I backtest, I know that okay, usually how many targets can I expect in a day? Usually, two targets in a day is more than enough. So you get your one, you get your two, you close your laptop, do something else, right? As a day trader. And whatever profits you're making, you pump it into a swing trade, right? That is how I would play this game. Same stock, different time frame, maybe different. You create two brokerage accounts. On one you do day trading and another one you do swing trading, so that you don't mix. If you can manage two trades on one account, do it. But usually, separate the accounts. Maybe keep account exclusively for day trading, keep one account for swing trading, like that, and you can go with it. See, it's all about how you wear the neurons in your brain, right? And for that you have to watch a ton of charts, right? And the tool is there for you to help. It's extremely easy to do the back testing as per the rules I've described. So you have to go back 1 year, 2 year. If you're day trading, at least 3 months. If you're swing trading, at least 2 years, 3 years, right? If you can do that, you will collect enough data and enough evidence whether this tool gives you money or doesn't give you money. In fact, I'm going to open a challenge very soon. So keep an eye for that. I'm going to invite anybody who wants to take up the challenge and do this backtest. I'm going to design the rules of the game and etc. Right. So I'm just in the planning phase. I'll announce that very soon. So was your question answered with respect to how you will trade? See, the rules are pretty much the same on all time frames, right? You have an observation level. When price breaches above that level, you can go long. Price reaches below that level. Below means the next level, not that level. Below the next level, which technically means you have to at least break one Gann level either in one direction or the other to make a trade. That is the only one and only rule. Now, what is that level that you have to design, right? You have the flexibility to design anything you want. I usually, when I'm on a intraday time frame, I tend to use 45 degree. You can try with, little lower or little higher, right? So for example, 36 degree also you can try. In this case, 36 degree is like this, right? Maybe 45 is better. So I haven't played enough time with this stock to tell you which is the best level, but you should play around with your stock. You should adjust these levels and see, which works out for you, right? Over a long time frame. Even 40 degree is here. So 40 degree. 40 degree is 1/9th of a circle. Seems to be working. At least stop losses are not hitting, right? You went long here, got your first target, stop loss did not hit. Now you got your second target. So look at this. I just changed the angle. Now using this, if I went long here, here is my first target. My stop loss is here, right? Stop loss did not hit. It made two attempts to come down. Stop loss did not hit. Again, it got first target, second target, right? So by this time, I would mostly be out as an intraday trader, or I will, and look at this perfect touch. So 40 degrees seems to be working well. I mean, I just picked a random angle, right? But you need to go and backtest, on all days and see whether 40 degree works, right? Usually, when the price is less than 2000, 3000, no, small angles you'll have to operate, especially on an intraday time frame, right? Like that. So 40 degree is nothing but 1/9th of a circle. 40 by 360 is 1/9. Is it 1/9? Yeah, 1/9, right? Yeah, correct. It's 1/9th of a circle. 4 into 9 is 36. Correct. So you try 40, you try 36, 30, 45. One of those numbers will work. I have given you plenty of options. You can choose whichever. You can try 30 degree. You can try 60 degree. Slightly more, slightly less, and see what works, right? Only thing you are changing is your risk to reward ratio. That is what you are playing with, nothing else. Sometimes you're taking bigger risk. If you use bigger angles, means your risk is bigger, hence your reward is also bigger. If you use smaller angles, you're reducing your risk and reward, right? So, but then you have to backtest and find out for your particular stock whether that level is ideal or not, right? Because that I cannot tell you. I've given you all the flexibility to design your own levels so that I don't have to, do it for every stock, right? Or, everybody can design their own levels. And the only way you can design their own levels is by going back, looking at history. That is the only simple way to do that. There is no other way. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Did you understand the gist of it, right? I mean, there is one thing that you understood. What would that be?
No, no, I understood. I understood it, but again, as I said in the beginning.
See, all these numbers are known to you only. You can easily
Yes,
put
yes,
some Excel formulas and calculate, right? I don't
yes,
think
yes, yes.
story is
I
in the
understood.
formula, or the secret is not the formula. The secret is the implementation, you know, and the ease of implementation rather, right? I mean, if somebody is willing to, do all the effort to draw all these lines, and I don't know, if you're trading one, maybe once you draw the lines, they will stay, right? And that might just be what you need, right? But if you're
No,
somebody
no,
who
this,
likes to
I totally
experiment,
agree. The kind
mm,
of effort you put, kind of logic you put, it is
mm,
good
yeah,
because these things I have done. I have uh, okay, but I understood what you meant to say. The only thing is that what I'm trying to see here is
uh,
you have an option or flexibility to play along with the angles.
yeah. See, I have chosen an anchor for you, which is my starting. As I said, if you are a day trader, because opening price is where you start the day, right? Logically, that is an important level. But if you don't want to choose opening price, you want to anchor it to a high or low, you can do that. That's completely up to you. So your levels will be designed accordingly. And one enhancement I've just done is I just don't blindly take the high and low. I take the square root number. I mean the perfect square number of an integer.
No, no, that is called dynamic. Yeah, you
Uh,
are doing correct.
yeah, so I dynamically adjust the number based on your preference. If you're okay with open, it will adjust to the open. If you want to anchor it here or somewhere here, anything is possible. You just have to read the number and dial in. That's it. That is
Yeah.
only thing you have to do. But all of these levels will work, right? I mean, it's not like, but you have to back test and you have to see which works. The default itself will work because, when you're day trading, you will always almost start at the open as a reference price, right? And then price will either move down or move up. If it is below the open, obviously, you're bearish, right? Right from the day start. Uh, so, so then this becomes your reference level, and a break below is your first point of trade, right? So your long trade would have been initiated. Sorry, this is the start level. So your long trade technically should initiate here when you are at the open, right? But in this case, since it took the support here, the moment it takes the support here, this level gets activated for long trade. And the moment it comes here, your next level gets activated for short trade. That is the basic rule you have to remember. And that rule doesn't change. I mean, it is Gann's way of trading, right? I mean, it is basically Gann's style of trading.
So how long you are trading, Gautam?
I am trading for more than 10 years, but using the Gann system for maybe 3-4 years now. But I have had
So
a lot of
how
challenges
is
in
the result?
implementation. I was facing practical challenges, right, with all these levels and drawing them. It was very tedious. And then one fine day, I found this AI tool, right? Anthropic, Claude AI, and all that. Then I sat down to code, and I was able to build all these indicators, right? Roughly, at the rate of 2 indicators per week is what I coded, right, in the last 2 months. So I have built, a suite of indicators. Of course, I don't want to go too much detail in one call. So every week I'm going to showcase maybe one indicator, right? So that you can at least take something away. And if you want to, if you're interested, so do one thing. If you want to chat, right, with me,
Yeah.
uh, there is a calendar link I'm going to share, right? So
Okay.
let me share that link. You can set up a call, a one-to-one call, and then we can sit and discuss for about 40 minutes and understand what you need. And based on
Yeah.
that, I can suggest, what you need, right? So just give me a moment. Have I shared that calendar link with you on message, WhatsApp, or no? Can
Uh,
you check?
Let me check. No,
No.
calendar is not shared.
Okay, you
Not
have
just
not.
the link.
Okay. No, there is a calendar link, right? Okay, let me find it. Just give me a moment. I will share it in the chat. Maybe you can book the meeting right away, so that, I mean, just have to book a slot, right? So just one minute. Where it is? Yes. Yes. I will also drop it in the WhatsApp, but I'm dropping it in the chat right now.
Yeah.
So that, but just copy this link, because the moment I close this call, this is going to get away. I also dropping it in the group chat. Got it? So go here, just find a slot that works for you, and we will talk. Everybody, please complete this activity. I mean, just find a slot. Whoever is new here, especially, right? With those old people, of course, you know me and you know enough about my indicators, right? But especially this is for the new people. Even old people, you want to talk one to one, please, by all means, go ahead and book that call. And we can definitely discuss any particular challenges or problems you're facing, right? So we can definitely discuss that. Done? Just drop a message done if you're. Let me also check my inbox, because I'll probably have to confirm the slot. So I don't see anybody has booked yet. Can you drop in a message if you have, you know, done that? Based on that, I'll check my inbox. So, please drop in a message if you are done booking the calendar, and then I will move. I'm giving you 2 minutes to complete the activity. I'm not seeing any confirmation email, coming across.
You might have got for next Friday.
Yeah, I got just one. I'm confirming that. So you will get a message with a, the save it in your calendar, right?
Yeah.
Or just
I'll
make
put
a
a reminder on the mobile as well. Okay. So, what are the script? How you are utilizing? How you are trading personally?
See, I primarily use a square of 9. I have, there are a lot of things, very difficult to say in one call, right? So you keep attending the webinars, you will get to know more, right? So for swing trading, there are other styles, right? Indicators. That is also based on Gann's principles. There is a concept of seasonality, right? That I use for my primary investment, but it hasn't been a very investor friendly, atmosphere, right? Of whatever is been happening. So I'm not using that tool much. I tried to use it for a very brief period, 4 5 days, but then again market reversed. So that did not work out this time. But usually, April is supposed to be a very bullish seasonal period, right? According to the sun cycle. If you go and study historically, most stocks are bullish. There is an 80 90% probability of a bull run in this period for most stocks. But despite that probability, that now this time what happened is it is actually following the astro cycles. I think so. The way I see it, right? Astro is the master. Planets control everything.
So see, Gann has two things. One is price. He has given a lot of importance, but time he has given more importance.
So who controls time? Astro, right? Planetary influences, right?
Yes.
So, but then that is very, very difficult to decode. I don't think I have become a master in decoding astro related everything. I mean, a sun cycle is easy to decode. Even moon cycle is easy to decode, right? Because they are the things. But then you have Mercury, you have Venus, you have Jupiter, you have Saturn, you have Rahu, you have Ketu, you have, so many other planets, right? So can you be the master of all the planets? Probably no, right? I mean, I don't know, right? So I have still my research continues in that direction, but I don't think I have any indicator also, right, related to astro. That is
Are
also
you doing
difficult
by
to get.
everything by your own now, or how you
Yeah,
are getting?
I am a self-taught. Yeah, primarily I do everything on my own, right? So, yeah, and I primarily use TradingView as a platform, and
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But again, it's really good. But I think maybe I'll connect with you. Then I can share or I can contribute to you.
See, obviously,
Because
I've been learning for a long time, right? I've learned from various teachers, various styles, and I have tried, and of that, I feel that the Gann system is the most scientific.
no. So why I like Gann, I'll tell you.
Hmm.
First of all, whatever indicator you plot it or you develop it, it is the fixed indicator. It will not
Yeah,
lag. Okay.
exactly.
So you know what is the entry point, what is the exit point. First of all.
Uh,
So that is the one. Second thing, angle works very well. These angles, whatever you are showing right now, these are all price angles. When you
yeah,
will combine with the time angle, you will get amazing result. If you search S
yeah.
Kumar in Google, I
So
have
let me.
predicted all Microsoft, Apple, Dow Jones, you name it.
Acha. So let me show you. Since you mentioned time.
Yeah.
Let me show you one more indicator, right? And it's a very simple, it's there's no rocket science here, okay? So let me show it on this
Good to
itself.
learn. It is good to learn and share. Yeah.
Uh, I'm just turning off the square, price square for a moment, and this one also. So Gann time cycle, right? This indicator. Oh, it has perfectly. Achha, this is Nifty, and I wanted to show it for Nifty actually.
Yeah, yeah, you can
So,
change the
so see,
spectrum.
I have picked a low of this one. This 20th of March, there was a low, right? And the reason I picked this
Yeah,
low
we
is
are not
because it
able
is.
to. We are not. Your screen has not changed, Gautam. Still, it is showing OMX 30.
Acha, acha. Maybe I have to share a different screen. Let me do that.
Yeah, you can reshare it. Yeah.
One second. Are Zoom. Yeah. Now you can see Nifty, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, what was I saying? Yeah, so this is my simple time cycle indicator. It just plots the harmonic time cycle, every number of bars apart, right? That is what it does. So yes. So this is, a 90 bar time cycle. So you can choose any number of this thing, right? So 90, you can choose 144, right? So if you know what is the harmonic that you want to play, in fact, even this indicator, there is a way to trade, right? Let's say you are playing on the 144-day cycle indicator, right, from the low. So the very simple rule is obviously, this is your reference. So this is your first, point, right? Harmonic point. So what you do is you simply, take 1 or 2 days before and after you mark the high and low. Now, whichever way it breaks, you can trade in that direction, right? With a stop loss, ideally middle or above this, right? So if you traded that, maybe this candle, gave you a trigger. You got, one day in that direction. After that, it reversed. So obviously, you will reverse your trade here, somewhere here or here, right? And then look at the move you would have gotten, right, till the next cycle. So ideally, it either from one cycle to next cycle is your holding. So if you're doing investments or long-term swing trading, then you can simply use this rule. Just whatever harmonic you have chosen. I'm just showing 144 for you. So you pick that thing, you wait for a break, either this way or that way, and if it reverses, you reverse the trade. Right? Simple. So here you may have gotten some one candle ka stop loss, right? Here, or maybe this much, half of this much stop loss you would have taken. But look at the profit you would have taken in this trade. You have to hold from one time cycle to the next. And this high and low will act for the entire cycle. So next, when you come to this next cycle, then this becomes your reference levels. Okay. This high and this low becomes the reference levels. Now, obviously, these things you have to ignore because this is a, election campaign, I mean, election result related thing. So this is like a blip. So if you ignore just these 2-3 days, again, your price, let's say after this event you're trading, this is the first candle that broke above this high, right? So, and look at this, you got a big move, right? And of course, if you use the Gann price square in tandem with this thing, then you know how to trail also your profits. Okay, I just showed you how to trail. So you would be able to come out with maximum profits, right? Based on your trailing system. It may hit your stop losses also, or the other simple system is you wait for the next time cycle to arrive and apply the same rule. So basically, again, you mark your high and low. So see, from this cycle to this cycle, you would have gained something because you got a good fall also. If you assuming you did not book, nobody will wait till this long, right? With this much of a fall. Ideally you would book somewhere here or here or here, whatever, right? So even if you didn't book, you are here. So again, when next cycle comes, you again mark the high and low. This candle broke the low, right? You use 50% as your stop loss, and you are still going on, right? Until
Yeah.
this day, your cycle will run. If you want to trade on a shorter time cycle,
Now
let's say,
one thing.
let's say you want
You
to
have done really
do
well.
on a 45, let's just go to 45-day cycle, right? So See, you have to play with these numbers. I don't know
No, that's
which is
true.
the most important
That's
number,
true.
right?
Multiple combinations. Yes.
See, now I have changed it to 45 bar time cycle, right? So now it's a shorter time frame. So your observation, your trade is from here to here, 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 like that. So you only need to act. In fact, you'll be amazed, by this simple. Just mark the first 15-minute high and low of the month and trade that. That is also a strategy.
Yeah.
So, see, the thing is, the problem is not in the strategy itself. The problem is what goes on in our mind, right, after we take the trade. And
No, only
I,
see, only problem. I today I'll tell you my one personal experience. I was in the loss, okay, in the morning, 10,000. I was working from home today. Then I made up the mind. I saw the chart, Gann chart and everything. I was 100% sure the polycab was a short. Okay. First
Polycab,
time I polycab. Okay.
okay,
I entered, I booked a very small amount of stop loss. Okay. Then again, second time I entered with the same quantity, 3 or 4 lot, and I exited with good amount of profit.
yeah,
So it is all psychology, because if you will not act immediately after your loss, you will not be able to book the profit, or you will not be able to recover the loss.
okay. Polycab is this.
Yes. So this cardinal, whatever 5112, I observed that
So
on the left side.
this is where, price started, first bar.
Yes.
So as per my rule, see, price is taking this, but, anyways, I tend to ignore this first period of play, right? I mean,
No, so I didn't
so
consider the upside. I considered the downside.
see,
Downside.
ideally, the way to trade this, see, price moved up, then it took the support here. Then
Hmm.
when it broke above this should have been your ideal long trade, right? First trade
On
for
the
you.
long trade. Yes.
And then, rules is same. You book on one target, and again, this was a reversal here. You should exit here, right? And
Yes.
then
Yes.
ideally, you can reverse your trade here, or on break below this level, you could have reversed. Again, you got one target. So you got a one target on the long. You could have got one target on the short also if you played by the
Yeah.
rules. Okay. And two targets in a day, you keep yourself, be happy, right? I mean, just take two targets in a day and be happy. That's it. Any stock, anything you give me, I will show you that minimum two targets you can achieve in a day.
Yeah. That's true.
It's when, your emotions take control of your trade. That's when things go for a toss. Because you will make a khichdi of rules. You will apply SMA, MACD, RSI, whatever others, Elliott wave, that wave, some other XYZ, right? Some other technical indicators. So don't mix it, right? If you're trading on RSI, just trade on RSI, right? And MACD. If you're trading on Gann, just follow the rules, right? And the rules are,
Just number. Just number.
you
Just
will not
number.
hear
That's it.
me speak about any other trading rule other than what I said today. No matter which strategy or which indicator you're using, the rules are the same. No matter what time frame, what stock, what commodity, what index, what currency, what cryptocurrency you're trading, rules are the same. These are numbers, it is universal numbers. It is the beauty of it,
Correct.
right?
And these are all natural numbers. Yes.
These are all natural numbers, right? And number is like God. And I am going to launch one options thing, right? I mean, I'm still sort of learning. You will be amazed with how the options market is ruled by a very few numbers,
Yes. Yes.
right? And those are also the square numbers, right? And 144 and 225 is two of the most important numbers in when you are trading options, right? So, but then a lot of people think, trading is complicated. You have to options, you have to look at this, that, VIX, open interest, yeah, wo, alpha, beta, gamma, theta, right? So many things, and it becomes very, very complex. I have tried all of that things, nothing works. I've tried straddle, strangle, butterfly, this, that, bi-monthly, yeah, wo, sab kuch I have tried in the past. What I've seen is, when the market is quiet, those straddles and strangles gave very good money. Moment it start trangling, whatever I earned in like 3 months, 1 quarter, 2 days took it away. 2 days. It took me to wipe out my 3 months of profit.
No, that's true. That's true.
So, and that is when I realized, all these are bakwas, right? Nothing.
But again, see,
No.
whatever rule or whatever strategy anybody is following,
Yeah.
thumb rule is you should play with your stop loss. That's it. You
See,
can
you
control
have to
that.
understand that your one and only job as a trader is risk management, right? Which is to protect your capital. And whatever I stated today, if you understood the essence of it, it is all based on risk management. You're taking an entry and exit based on pre-decided numbers, right? I'm not deciding the number. Numbers are there, right, in front of the screen. Price is choosing to react to those numbers, right? That is not your and my doing, no. That is how the market behaves. Why did the price took a turn exactly at the cardinal level? Can somebody say? Can you say why did it have to revert exactly from here? But it did, no. Exactly on
Yes.
the dot, right? On the dot, price reversed. You and I have not designed these rules, right? We just plotted it. So whatever is simple and universal, it is like the universe is also run by these numbers. So why will not the market also follow these numbers, right? Very simple analogy, The whole life is influenced by the sun. Why would stock market not be influenced by the sun cycle? So the sun, the moon, the Venus, the Mercury, Jupiter, everything plays an role, right? And if we can decode each of their cycle or this thing, then I think we can do anything. The problem is, there
Yes.
is astrologer's view, there is this thing, and there is so much of hodgepodge khichdi out there that I cannot extract the essence of it yet, right? I mean, I'm trying to, but still, I feel that I have a lot of work to do. If you have something to share, please, I'll be happy to talk. But yeah, but that is where I am. Sun cycle is simple to understand, right? Because, you know, it follows simple dates, and there are tools, designed. So sun cycle is but moon cycle is important for day traders, right? So if you understand, if you can decode the moon strength, you will get a high probability of which way the market is likely to move. I'm talking from Nifty perspective, not from other stocks. For stocks, you have to understand the natal chart and you have to understand the ruling planet. If you can understand the ruling planet and the cycle of that planet, especially if it is ruled by Mercury or Venus, and if you can follow, for example, for gold, I'm pretty sure Venus will play an important role, right? For many stocks, Mercury, like like Tata Motors or any of these two-wheelers, right? Mercury will play a role, right? So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
lot is there to decode, right? Honestly, and but I haven't found it in a way to express it mathematically or express it in very simple terms, right? Which is why I have not been able to leverage it yet. But I'm still trying. Let's see uh, where I get with it. So I've shown you two simple. Yeah. So anything on the time cycle indicator? I mean, see, I had drawn this thing, if you remember, on the 2-day time frame, right? But it will work. You switch your time frame, it will adjust to that particular time frame, and it will still plot the same levels for you, right? And each one of these levels can also become important, and you can always change and anchor it to an important point. For example, this low seems like an important low, right? So if you want to change the cycle to anchor to that low, you can do that. You just have to pick the date and time, whatever that is. What is this date? 7th April 9:15. 7th April. April 7 9:15. Yeah. So one thing you have to do is, you have to just go 2 bars before to just pick the center, because I take this buffer, right? So So then let's say, since this big thing happened here, maybe this is an important event to anchor my time cycle. Now you have to play with, what is that number? If you know what is the, the right number to use for your stock, then you just have to dial in that number, and when the time comes for that. So see this, after this I have chosen 45. Now this is an important Gann level, right? This red line, and so this is an actually a price time square moment. And look at the move you got after this, right? So if you can find a point where your price and time is kind of aligned, right? And it's a narrow range like this, when there is a breakout, you will get a good move, right? Like that. Again here, price and time, it is not that much because it is little bit shifted. Here it was bang on in the middle, right? The center of this. But still you got one move here. Again, here you can say the price and time aligned, right? Like important cardinal level and important time. So the price and time aligned, and then you got a big move. So the idea is that whenever price and time aligns, right, at an important Gann level. So right now here also you can say that the price and time is kind of aligned, right? So with this stop as the stop loss, you can go short here. Even this was respected. So maybe tomorrow you may see some further fall or whatever, right? I mean, the next important level is this one. So like that, you have to find, what is the frequency of your particular stock, which number is it respecting, right? And if you can decode that number in a scientific way, that's great, right? You will be able to then use this time in combination with price, and that is even more powerful. Like for example, in Nifty, an 18 bar or a 36 bar cycle is working wonders, right? I have seen it on the daily time frame. I'll show you on the Nifty. Switch to the daily. I'll have to go back to that, 23 March, क्या था? 20. I'll have to adjust this thing to exactly. So the middle should point to the low. So 2 bars you have to adjust. 2 bars to the left, because I take 2 bars to this thing, and that also you can control here. I have taken 2 range, just to create a range, right? As 2 bars. You can even set it to 1 bar also if you want, right? So that also works. 2 bar is okay, plus minus 2 days error. So now it is perfectly picking the low. I think this one will, yeah. So now it is perfectly picking the low. Now you see the magic, right? When I fast forward, let me switch off the square of 9 price. अच्छा ये 18 बार नहीं है. I will change it to 18 bar. So if you look at this, even it caught the exact top here, even the most recent low it picked, even the intermediate low, high, more or less every turn it is picking as per this frequency, right? So that tells me that this is the vibrational frequency of Nifty right now, right? It is vibrating with this number 18 because everything is aligned. Now you draw your Gann levels, aligned with this time cycle, you will see a very different picture, right? So now let's say I open this. Again, I anchor it to the top, 26277, and I say I want to draw below only, and I want to draw, let's say, 144 degrees, right? Now look at it. Now tell me, this candle perfectly after the time cycle event gave a breakout. So this is with a gap that never filled next day also. So you could short here, wherever, somewhere you could have shorted. And then you wait for the next time cycle. If want, you can book or you can continue like that, right? So when the time cycle comes is when you have to carefully analyze what is happening, because every time cycle is potentially a period to anticipate a change of trend. Change of trend did not happen here. There was a continuation, but change of trend definitely happened here. right on that dot on the time cycle, right? So you can say that maybe on the second harmonic is then becomes an important, right? This is the first. If you take this as a reference, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So even on 3 it reacted, right? So from this point onwards it reversed. Again, here also it tried to reverse, not much, almost same range, up and down. Again it reversed here on this time cycle. Again it reversed here on this time cycle. Again it reversed here on this time cycle. So technically each period now is a way to look at, and this is some funny thing is happening here. But the next important date is around here, towards the end of April. So this May is going to determine whether the how much price goes in towards till end of April. You have to initiate your trade somewhere around this one, 6th of May. You will get a high quality trade if you initiate your trade here, right? So what I trying to say is, if you start trading from an important time cycle day, you will always get a high quality trade. Okay. So if you wait for the right time, then wait for the right price, and if you have analyzed and the pattern and everything is aligning, right? And if you get the direction right, you will win. At least 80-90% of the time you are bound to win. 1 or 2 times it will definitely stop losses will happen. But if you reverse, most likely on the other side you will win big, right? Even if you take one stop loss, you will see your target will be at least 3 times the stop loss. And that is the only beauty of the Gann system that I have found. No other system gives you this much leverage, is what I feel, right? No other indicator in this world, because everything is based on price, and all of these indicators are based on some averages, right, of price, and hence all of them are lagging, right? Maybe one of the best I have found is the Ichimoku cloud, but hardly people know how to use it well, right? So it is also, people think it's complex and all that. But Ichimoku is also a very good technical analysis tool, right? If you really want to understand trend and when the trend is changed. But I feel Gann is much superior, and it will give you the fastest entry and exit of all the systems that I have tested, right? So and hence, I think this is the most superior system you can trade. Any questions? How many of you have booked a call? I saw only one. What about the rest who are here? I think Amit ji also has booked, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, there is no other new people here, I guess. Okay. All right. So I think, I would love to keep it this much for today. So we discussed price and time. In the next week, I'll take up some other indicator. There are quite a few, at least 7 or 8 very impactful indicators I have. Actually, the count goes to, I think, more than 10, 12. So I'll be happy to discuss them in the due course, right? Maybe 1 week at a time. Any questions on this one? I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll talk, whoever has booked time with me, we will definitely sit and talk and discuss the way forward, right? So, any questions? सुमित जी, संदीप जी,
Not from my end.
No,
बैक टेस्टिंग चल रहा है?
हाँ,
क्या मिला है? कुछ शेयर कीजिए, मतलब how what have you found so far?
ठीक है, ग्रुप में डाल दूंगा,
Hmm?
ग्रुप में डाल दूंगा।
Which system have you tested so far?
ये डॉट लाइन वाला,
कौन सा?
ये डॉट लाइन वाला ऊपर नीचे डॉट लाइन।
डॉट लाइन
Yes, yes.
नाम क्या है?
टुडे हाई लो,
गैन पंचोली?
actually this today high low, this time cycle is today high low.
अच्छा, ईयर वाला टाइम साइकिल विथ हाई लो, अच्छा अच्छा, और ठीक। See, whatever you do, my recommendation is that in the beginning, maybe pick one strategy, right? Uh, and if it's a day trading purpose, you should minimum backtest for 3 months if you can. 30 days to bare minimum, 30 to 60 days. If you can do it for 90 days, that's great. Then for next 30 days, you do a forward testing on paper only. Now, once you have completed back testing and forward testing, then you are qualified to take a trade, right? Because all the neurons in your brain will be wired properly due to the back testing. Because unfortunately, you have to do it on your own, right? Nobody can do it for you, because if you don't do it, wo jo network, I mean, whatever is inside your brain, that will not be programmed. And it will only be programmed if you look at the chart, if you follow the rules, and if you write down the trades, right, in your diary. And if you want to share and if you want me to review it, I'm happy to do that, but you'll have to do the work and get back to me, right? Only then I'll be able to review it. I think this batch has 3 more classes pending, right? I mean, whoever is in my master course. So every Monday, I think you have 3 more classes. So try to use, this will be mostly Q&A sessions, right? So I don't have anything more to teach. I think theory wise, I have given you everything. I've given you access to all the indicators also. So all my intention is to do, now synthesis and integration, right? So that is what I'll focus on. And I'm happy to discuss a little bit on my thought process, etc. But if you want to you make the best use of that, 3 sessions that we have, please complete your back test and then come to the session and ask questions. That way, I think everybody else will also be benefited, right, from your questions. So the more the questions you will ask, the more, things will sink in, right? If you just, wait for me to say everything and you will just listen, go back, then, you will get certain results, of course. But if you proactively do the work and ask more intelligent questions, then you will get a lot more, impact, right, from the time that you're spending with me. So, today is Friday, you still have the weekend, right? So just do your homework and come with some questions on Monday. Anybody else have any questions for me today?
तो 20,000 कैसे कमाया, कुछ बोला ना? How
हाँ
I earned 20K.
क्या
How I earned 20K ऐसे कुछ लिखा था WhatsApp में.
20K?
Yes.
तो वो तो सुबह में था ना, right now how I can show that, I will, maybe I'll show it in the Monday class. This is 225 degrees. See, you just need to spend time with your chart and understand, what is the right price frequency and what is the right time frequency, right? If you can plot these two numbers now, these two indicators that you have in your screen is more than enough to make any amount of money you want. You don't need any fancy indicators other than what you have in your charts right now. Gann time cycle and Gann square. One is taking care of price, one is taking care of time cycle. And by combining both, you can make, whatever amount of money, right? The only thing is, you have to spend the time to understand how you can dial in these settings, right, for your particular, and you don't have to follow a lot, right? Two or three is enough. 2 or 3 is enough. Let's say one index and, uh, 2, 3 stocks, that's more than enough. You will not be able to analyze also so many things on a daily basis. So do something that the human mind can, you know, allow you to do, right? And all of you are busy people, you have jobs, etc., right? So just pick one good stock, one index, or one commodity. That's enough, more than enough, I feel, right, for most people. So uh, I have many other indicators, uh, but not necessary that you need all of them to make money in the market, right? So you need to pick up only one that you connect with the most, right? Based on what you have heard and what you have tested, and then stick to it. Don't change to a different system for the next 90 days. You will get the results. But you have to keep following one system consistently, right? For at least 3 to 6 months before you jump to the next. Right? It's good to know about all, right? But can you use all the 10 things at a time? No, right? I mean, even I cannot use all of them. The only thing that I can use is the Gann pressure date, right? Because those are special. That's a special strategy for Gann pressure date. For day trading, I use the Gann levels designed for the day trading. For swing also I use Gann levels and time cycle, right? And then there is another one that is mostly meant for beginners, but that also works perfectly, right? Aligned with Gann price and time, that I will show in the next session, right? So whether you are a beginner or you are advanced, if you are advanced, definitely I suggest sticking to this price and time cycle, because you'll be able to then dial in these numbers and use it. If you're a beginner, there is a beginner friendly indicators also that you can use, right? For example, this thing I called can law of vibration indicator, right? Yeah, something like this. So this one also works. You just switch off this other one. This is a system on its own. So it is purely based on the sun cycle of taking the entire year, last year, breaking it into 8 different mini cycles, right? 1/8 is also an important Gann period division. And looking at, what is the movement of each stock in that particular period, summing them up, taking the average, and then projecting that average above and below whatever is the opening price or the closing price of the last cycle. And that is how these levels are derived. And these then becomes your trading levels, right? For swing traders. Okay. So these levels, obviously you are not going to use it on a daily. You can go into a 15-minute or 25-minute time frame, and then you can trade using these levels. This is done for you. You don't have to even plot these levels, right? So for example, if you were trading, right, on let's say the 25-minute time frame, so your starting point of this cycle is from here. So you, anyways, initial period you have to observe, right? At least 1 or 2 days. So price went here. This is also near the high of the previous cycle. As you can see, this was the high, right? Price could not breach. Only one candle went above and then price started falling. So technically, this is also indicating weakness, but as per the rules, you have to wait for a break of the level below. So this is where you can actually technically short, right? With a stop loss, at least 50% of the range. So if you went short here or here or here, doesn't matter, right? Your stop loss did not get hit. Now look at how much you made on this trade. One level, two level you usually made, right? I mean, obviously, once the third level hit, you should square and run, right? Because when you get the third level means you have hit a jackpot. So ideally you should have booked here. And in fact, here by now, the trade has reversed, right? So next day itself price came here, took the support here. Now, if you did not take the trade here, you can initiate the trade here. So now we are in a long trade. So all that, anyways, it has moved up 2 levels in no time. And as long as this level holds, this is how much? 20 to 720, right? So unless price breaks below this, we are still continue to be bullish. So maybe this is an important level, can act as a reversal because that is where we started this cycle. Now, again, we are coming to the midpoint of the cycle, right? This period marks the midpoint, and hence this you should specially observe what happens on 16th, because that is past the midpoint. Now, if you see any kind of reversal happening here, from here, that is a perfectly short condition, right? Or, if price continues to move up, breaches this level and then continues, then maybe, it will go to the next target, which is around 23,600. That is where, the move kind of originally started, and you would have retraced the whole thing. So each level technically will now act as reversal point. So this is one reversal point here. Another reversal period is here because this is quarter. So these are quarter points, quarter, half, third quarter, full. So again, this area becomes important. So see, I have done all the hard work and coded everything in my indicators in such a way that, it's like almost ready to use, right? You just have to unwrap, apply it on your chart and use, right? So, and this is so easy to use that you just have to just select your stock and everything is done for you. You don't even have to think about doing anything. This is the most beginner friendly indicator that exists that encodes Gann's concept. And if you want to make money using swing trading, using the simple rules I described, rules are not changing. The trading rule simple stays the same, right? Maximum what you can do is sometimes is, if it is too big between these levels, you can probably try the 50%. Otherwise, even these ones will work for you. I think these are some other levels that are drawn. Yeah, so these are your original levels. If you feel it is too big, you can consider 50% also the interim level. I didn't want to plot so many, so I just kept it as, again, these are all cardinal points, right? Can you see 25.25 is nothing but, an equivalent to 1/4 of this whole range, right? So that is like a 90-degree in Gann's term, right? So this is 50%, in terms of the whole cycle. And this is, 270-degree or, 3/4. And this is the full thing. So if you get 3/4 of a move in any given period, that's your jackpot. You should always try to, so usually, you should book your 1/3 here, your 50% should go out here, your another 25. So 25%, 25%, 25%, like that you can book. And if you get the third target, either book 100% or ideally, you should book 50% on first target, 25% on next target, and 100% on third target. So that way, uh, you are progressively making money, right? If you want to leave around a little bit for the fourth target, that's fine, right? But the probability of reversal goes up higher as you go to the third target and higher, right? So there is a high degree, unless you're in a COVID period and all that, where it can go up to any number of levels, right? So in a very sharp fall. But yeah, I mean, so I have uh, tried to code the indicators from very different principles, right? And each one is very unique, right? And which one you want to use, it's completely up to you. I have explained the logic, I've explained the rationale, I've told you, what is it meant for and what time frame you can use it. Now you need to pick and choose your stock. You need to backtest. I've even given you the capability to do the backtest, right? So you can go back to any period and it will draw the levels for you using this custom range mode, right? So I've made it that dead simple for you. After that, it's up to you how you want to use the tool, how much time you spend in backtest is the key, according to me. So if you can just backtest this one tool, right, for your stock for 2 years at least, which is nothing but 2 complete cycles, 2 to 3 complete cycles. If you backtest, you are more than set. You will feel that exactly how you should trade, whether these levels are working or not, and you can share your workings with me. If you find that it is not giving you profit right at the end of every cycle, I would like to take a look at it, right? I mean, which counter is not giving the profit and what went on wrong. But if you gather the data, then only I'll be able to help, right? Because it is impossible for me to go and do the backtesting for every stock, everything, and that is why I build the tool, right? So that everybody can do their own testing. So now you have to go and just test and see what you get. Everything is done for you in this indicator at least, right? You don't even have to worry about settings and levels and all that. Levels are automatically decided based on what has happened for this stock in the past. ठीक है. So chalo, I think that's all. That's all I had to cover for today's session. I'll meet you again next week and continue the discussion. And for those who are attending my class, please, request you to complete at least one homework in terms of back testing, and then come back with some intelligent questions, right? So that will help you and help me help you, right? So with that, I end today's session. Thank you everybody for attending, and I look forward to serving you all in the future as well. Chalo, bye bye.